SquareHammer.
So welcome, guys. We are here to recap the game day we had this past Sunday, where we played a game garrison in Fredericksburg, and we had about 2,500 points each, and everyone played 2 games. And we're just going to recap about 9th edition, because we used Warhammer's Armies Project 9th edition rule set, and we're kind of going that direction from 8th edition. We'll still play 8th edition, so don't worry, but we're kind of just testing out this new rule set. It feels fresh, as we've said in the past, and we just want to talk about our games and how we did, how the games were, what armies we played, what changes we would make to army lists, etc. So I'll start with Kyle. What was your first game, and who did you play?
Well, before we talk about who we played against in the games, let's talk about army lists.
Go for it.
So I took Dogs of War. I took a Merchant Prince, a level 4. I took a Paymaster with a Moneylender. I took a big brick of like 40 pikemen, 20 or so crossbowmen, 50 gunners, some like 12 heavy cav, a cannon, a hot pot. I feel like that.
Restaurants.
Yeah, I know, right? I feel like that might be it. And my wizard took Lore of Beasts, of all things, because I wanted to try it out. Because I used so much Beast in 8th Ed, I wanted to see the comparison. My first game was against Aaron. He was a dwarf. He's a dwarf player, or played dwarves on Sunday. And
every army at this point.
Yeah. So he brought a little unit of hammerers. He brought a couple thanes, an anvil of doom. He brought a big brick of great weapon warriors, some miners, which I completely forgot about until they were deployed in my backfield. And then a huge unit, not a huge unit, a big unit of Ironbreakers, where his
Thane?
One of his thanes was.
Okay. And how did you fare?
I also brought 8 or 9 ogres with great weapons and an ogre captain. That's what I was right. I did bring something else. So I won by like 150 VPs.
Wow.
It was a wild game. He didn't bring any guns. I'm sorry. He didn't bring any artillery. He did bring a couple small units of handgunners or thunderers.
And he had an anvil too, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so I deployed really defensively, and I was trying to use my half pot to take out his Ironbreakers because it ignores armor saves.
Ugh.
And I got like 1 round of shooting in that was relatively effective before miners showed up in my backfield, and it was just me being stupid because he told me when we were deploying that he had a unit of miners, and I was just like, "Oh, yeah."
Did they go straight for the cannon?
No, went straight for the half pot.
Okay, that makes sense because that thing is ignoring armor versus like 1-up armor save dudes. You make your points back pretty quick.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, he crushed my half pot early in the game and then wound up in the flank of the handguns.
Mm-hmm.
But before all that happened, so when he came up in my backfield, the only option I had, because all of my shooting weapons were, move or fire, move or shoot, I ended up turning my cannon around, and my cannon was on one far end of my flank, and he came up on the other end.
Okay.
So I turned the cannon around, and I had like a 4-inch or 5-inch gap in between the edge of the board and the back of all of my units where his miners showed up.
Okay.
And I risked it for the biscuit and shot my cannon at the flank of these miners as they came in the board.
So you're saying it could have scattered and hit your own stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Right, okay.
So naturally what happened was I got a direct hit and then bounced 10 inches through his entire regiment of miners.
Ooh.
Killed half of them.
Unaccompanied miners.
Yeah, they didn't panic or anything, but it was enough to make sure that when they got in combat, as long as I killed one, I maintained steadfast because I had my unit shrunk with higher, and I had a full rank.
Okay.
He didn't. So that was funny. The miners absolutely killed the guns in combat the first round.
I agree, John. I agree. Dwarf artillery is good.
What is?
John said, "Never leave the artillery at home." For dwarves, yes. I mean, it's kind of true.
Yeah.
That's a doctrine.
So, in the second round of combat, the miners didn't get any wounds off.
Ugh.
But
with great weapons too? Wow.
With great weapons.
Dang.
Because he was in my flank, so he only had frontage to 2 guys.
Ah, okay.
And he could only fight with 3. So he didn't wound, and I somehow managed to get 1 wound back, and I had a standard. We tied combat. He
this is a great story.
He didn't have a musician. And lost to my handguns in combat and got chased down and ran off the table. Oh, I missed a huge part. He had this crazy unit of 20 Iron Drakes that had Vanguard deployment.
Yep.
And then he kept using the Anvil now has a bound spell that...
Wait, does Vanguard count as a move for shooting?
But they're quick to fire, so he doesn't care.
Oh, so
he's just they just march up.
Does it in WAP 9th?
I think that's I don't think they were quick to fire in 8th.
No, I'm saying
they were. I think they were quick to fire in 8th too.
No, I'm just saying in general because there's so many units that you can bring up that have missile unit. Do they do missile units take the -1 to hit for moving during Vanguard to shoot? Because have a big brick of like Outriders or something.
Oh, you saying does the Vanguard count as moving in your shooting phase?
Yeah, it's like a free move before the game starts.
Yeah, I don't know. I assume it doesn't because before the game starts. But yeah, I mean, either way, he's gonna move him 3 and shoot again. So I would, because like you said, Kyle, he has the anvil, so then he gets another free move if he gets a.
It was crazy. He was 10 inches away from my front lines on his first turn with dwarves.
Wow.
And he blew my... Oh, I had a giant, too, in this army. He shot the giant off the board really quickly. And then...
With what?
With the Iron Drakes.
Oh, man. You even needed 6s? Wow.
Does that thing even have a save?
The giant? No, it doesn't have any saves.
But what happened was my ogres... were right behind the giant. So if I didn't move or try to get into combat, he was going to shoot him the whole game.
Right.
So I charged my ogres into these Iron Drakes, got destroyed.
Yeah.
On the stand and shoot because of the quick to fire.
Yeah. Did he have the banner too? Did he have like the runes of slowness versus you?
No.
No? Okay.
No.
That's at least good.
So
that would have been brutal.
Yeah, so I think I actually won the combat the first round, but he held. And then I got flanked by a huge unit of warriors, the Great Weapon Warriors with the BSB in it.
Mm-hmm.
My ogre captain killed his Thane, which had I think it had the stubborn banner.
Okay.
No.
That makes sense if it had a banner because it probably didn't have any magic items or anything to protect it.
No,
you can take runes, right? If you're a dwarf.
You mean runes and a magical banner? I don't know. I assume not, just because in most army books you're not allowed to do that. So I would assume that doesn't carry over from. I think they're trying in Warhammer's Armies Project. They're testing or were play testing, allowing the BSB to take a magic banner plus 25-point allotment for magic items, just to see if because most people don't take a magic banner only because then your BSB is like naked. It's like just an armor save, and it might not even be that good of one, like a 5-up or a 4-up. So I think they were trying to allow it to at least take some kind of extra protection, maybe even a magic weapon, just to compensate for being naked.
Yeah, well, I might have misspoke because he definitely had a ward save on that BSB.
Okay.
But I hit with 2 attacks, wounded with 2 attacks, and he failed 2 1-up armor saves and his ward save.
Ugh.
So I pretty much lost my entire ogre unit, but took out his BSB.
Worth it.
Yeah.
And then he had this other rune on this thing, the other thing in the Ironbreaker unit had this rune that he picked a unit on my side of the table, and that unit either had to charge the Thane's unit or flee. So he was playing these mind games with me where he was going to basically get my crossbows or my guns to charge his Ironbreakers or flee so that they couldn't shoot.
Wow.
Fix bayonets.
Yeah, that's yeah. I mean, what else can you do?
He didn't end up doing that, but he did have my pikemen charge, which
that's okay. I mean,
I needed to roll a 10-inch charge, and I rolled like I needed a 6 because they're only moving 4.
Right.
So I got into combat, and I don't think he was expecting them to. And then on that same magic phase, I got off a bunch of Lore of Beast buffs. So these pikemen were they were strength 4, toughness 4, fighting in 5 ranks. And
wait, why were they fighting in 5 ranks?
Because pikes have 3 extra ranks of fighting.
I thought that's only when you get charged.
Well, look, man, it was my first game.
Sorry, I'm just saying. I thought that was only when you get charged.
I actually checked the rules. So there's an asterisk in the pike weapon description that says these particular bonuses only apply if you're charged, and that's the plus initiative and plus strength.
So you still get to fight in the extra ranks. That makes sense because it's like a slow advance as that makes sense.
I'm assuming so, unless Matthias got the rule.
I think that makes sense. No, because your momentum carries you on if you're charging it in the first round or so.
Yeah.
That's why there's the armor piercing and the strength bonus. But after that, you still have multiple ranks of pikemen.
Yeah.
Pushing forward. You just don't get the strength bonus because they're just strength 3 humans pushing.
What was your MVP unit of that game then?
Oh, the pikemen for sure, because the pikemen that were buffed up with beast magic, including the heroes who all ended up at toughness 8, because I got bubbled off. Yeah. Absolutely murdered that unit of Ironbreakers and ran them down. They won by 8 or 9.
Even when they had a 1-up save and a 5-up parry? Wow. Impressive.
And so they killed the Ironbreakers, killed the Dwarf Warriors, and I feel like they also killed something else. But that unit definitely single-handedly won me the game.
Okay. I mean, it sounds like it was pretty close because there's only 150 victory points, right? Okay.
Yeah, well, and his was probably the Iron Drakes because they single-handedly killed everything in my army except for the pikemen.
Yeah, needing 3s to wound everything except the ogres, I guess.
Yeah.
How was his? What did his Deathcopter do? I know we had a Deathcopter, right?
Gyrocopter.
Gyrocopter, yeah, not the Deathcopter. 40K. Yeah, same thing.
He flamed off some handguns with it.
Okay.
And then got charged with my heavy plasma.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure that's what happened.
Okay. Peter, what about you? How was your game 1?
So my game 1, let's see what happened here.
Played... What's your army list? Because that's.
Oh yeah, I should probably tell you what I brought. So I brought High Elves this time. That was kind of fun. Brought a Prince and a Star Dragon with all the fun stuff on it.
Ugh.
And there's because I was using, how there's the magic weapon supplement for Warhammer Army Project. I brought the sword that gives you +1 to hit, +2 strength, and I think +1 attack for 60 points. So it's just it's this badass magic weapon, which ended up helping me. I'll tell you in a second. But I brought brought some White Lions, Phoenix Guard, small units, and no more than 20 for all these things. Some spearmen, 2 bolt throwers, 10 archers, and some chaff and stuff.
But it was all about the dragon. It's all about.
But it was all about the dragon. That is the main thing in my list that actually did anything in any of my games. But the first list I ran up against was that guy Nikolai, who brought 4 units of ethereal. And I had 1 magic weapon in the entire army. So I'm looking there oh shit. Like, this
Yeah.
this is gonna be a tough one. But it was a really fun game. He had like a unit like 10 like hex rates. He had like 5 of the Cairn rates because they're a unit now in WAP.
Okay.
He had a hero. I don't know which one it is on an ethereal steed, but the whole thing was ethereal. Then his general was ethereal too. Like literally, it was awesome because he brought everything to like be as ethereal as possible.
How do you make his? I didn't know vampires can do that. They can make. Is it a vampire?
So I think he took
vampire.
It was a special character.
It was Lady Olinder.
That's what. It was, yeah.
That's right. I forgot he took that.
It was a really cool list because it was a Musion themed list.
Yeah.
Because he had like 40 skeletons with the banner of Musion, which is I think you reroll all your 6s when you're attacking it.
Okay, that's like that heaven spell. Okay,
kind of brutal, yeah, because like reroll 6 to hit, wound, and armor saves.
Armor saves, yeah, that's nasty. That's like Ice Shard Blizzard or whatever it is, but like constant on that.
Yeah.
Unit.
Oh yeah, yeah, it's good.
Okay.
But yeah, so like in one turn, I was able to knock out half his ethereal. And we needed Black Coach too, which turned ethereal.
So how did you knock out half of his ethereal on turn 1 if you only had 1 magic item?
So it's like turn 2 or 3 or something. But what happened was I think turn 1 on my turn 1, I charged his bats that were in front of the hex rates. Charged that, overran into the I charged the dragon and something else into it. I forget what it was.
Maybe your horses or something.
Something like that, yeah.
Okay.
Charged that, was able to do enough wounds, did 15 wounds, plus this is a swarm, so they kind of die.
Right.
And it was able to make it like the 4 inches into the hex rates. So I was really happy I got the dragon in there because I knew next turn the dragon could mulch them with the magic weapon because it's a high elf prince on a dragon. Like you're not gonna really lose that usually, typically.
Especially with the new monster rules, the dragon would live through like.
Yeah, with the new monster rules, it's like you're swinging it like a toughness 7.
Woo!
Literally dragon with like 7 wounds. So it's like like cool.
Cool.
Sorry.
And we did for the viewers, we did meeting engagement, which that's the one where you could set up all the way up at the line and you're only 12 inches apart. So you can easily get turn 1 charges, just depends on where you put your stuff. But that's also the one where you have to roll for every single unit, including characters separately, that on a roll of a 1 doesn't start on the field. So did anything not start on the field for y'all? That was like
I think we played Battle Line, honestly.
Did you really?
I think we played Battle Line because we said, "Oh, we're all set up in Battle Line. We're gonna do Battle Line."
I know Kyle did that too because they did the same thing. They were like, "Oh, we're already like set up."
You played the scenario.
Aaron and I were already into like the middle of the end of the first turn by the time everybody else was set up and playing, or by the time everyone else was like set up to deploy.
Gotcha. Okay.
I'm still got some PTSD from the old 8th edition scenarios because they all suck.
Well,
so I always play Battle Line.
What's up, Andrew? Hi, AJ. No, Battle Line was not an option for the first one, but they just went ahead and played it because I guess they were just like, who cares? Doesn't matter if we all play the same.
Yeah.
I'll talk about it. So I actually got to play Andrew, and I was running Wood Elves, a couple units of Glade Guard, 1 unit of small unit of Way Watchers, level 4, Sisters of the Thorn, 1 unit of Wild Riders, a Tree Man, some Tree Kin. I pretty much tried to take 1 unit of everything. Took some Glade Rider, stuff like that. Way Stalker, Glade Captain, and a level 1. Yes, John. Show us under the cap, Kyle. Renee wants to see under the cap, Kyle. What's under the cap?
Under the cap, hair.
Yeah, I don't get that. Ooh, that's that flow. Kyle's got that flow.
It's a luxurious mane of man hair.
Yeah, I'm losing mine in the back, but that's okay. So played against Skaven, and what did you run, Andrew? Unit of Rat Ogres, big unit of Slaves, big unit of Storm Vermin, a Warp Lightning Cannon, a Warlock Engineer, a Grey Seer, a Hell Pit, a Warlord, I think, and
Brood Hoarder. Brood Horror, right?
No, nope, he didn't have that. Well, didn't have that. What, and Night Runners? He had a unit of Night Runners. Yeah, okay, so I don't remember what else he had, but that was pretty much it. And we bid media engagement, so my BSB, my Treekin, and a unit of Glade Guard did not start on the board. But I got to go first, so that was at least okay, because my BSB was mounted, so he could pretty much get to where he wanted. But Andrew, his Warp Lightning Cannon didn't start on the board, so not only does it not get to shoot his first turn, it didn't get to shoot his second turn because he moved, right? Then his BSB and his Warlord wasn't his general, but 2 of his characters didn't start on the board. And they weren't really able to get too far up, which was kind of bad. But I just tried to dance around as much as I could because I had Swift Shiver Shards. So that means with Wood Elves, with them now, you can move them and still double tap. So, which, yeah, that's pretty, without, no, you still have the -1 for multi-shot, but you can move and shoot as if you're standing still, meaning you still get to shoot 2 shots. So unit of 10 Glade Guard are shooting 20 shots, which is, that'll like put some damage on pretty well. It was a good game until he had some pretty poor phases. Not on his fault. Like there were some bad dice rolling. He got off the plague spell. So one Athel Loren magic it's not great, but I got off the big 12-inch bubble 4-up regen, which helped immensely against his. It's like plague, death. I can't remember what it was called, but what do you call it? Dancing thing. No. So one, I can't remember the name of the spell, but it's every model in the unit takes a strength test, and if you fail it, there's no armor save. You just like die. So luckily you got a regen save. So I think he rolled 25 and it hit my Eternal Guard. Oh, I had a unit of them. Hit my 25 guard, only rolled 9 wounds, which is pretty bad. And then I passed all but 1, and then that's the one that bounces to other units. It bounced to 2 other units of 10 Glade Guard and only killed 1 in each unit. So it should have wiped out like half of each unit, but he only did, I think it was like 3 wounds. Oh, and he had, what were that? It's like the Age of Sigmar ones with like the big rattling cannons. Anyone remember?
Yeah, I know. See the ones who throw like 46 shots.
Yeah.
It's insane. Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Storm
Fiends, right?
Storm Fiends, yeah.
So his first shot with that thing, he got 41 shots with 3 dudes, and just like, but he hit my unit. So every one you roll to hit, you hit your own unit within a certain distance or something like that. So he hit my unit as much as he hit his own unit. And he did 2 wounds to his own hell pit. And I think he might have done 1 wound to my Eternal Guard because they had that regen bubble. So the dice were just not on his side. But it came to be a victory for the Wood Elves. Still good game overall. It was my first time playing him, and he was nice. And we actually saw him at Huzzah last game day, the previous month. Him and Nikolai both came down to play, so that was cool to see them and actually get them on the field. But what about game 2? I guess we'll start with Kyle. Who did you play game 2?
Game 2, I played Bob.
Bob, okay.
Bob brought 2,500 points of VC, and we played the right scenario this time.
What was the second one?
Battle for the Pass.
Right, okay.
And Bob had 2 units of 4 Vargeists, 10 Black Knights, like 60 zombies, a bunch of skeletons, 9 Blood Knights with a Blender Lord in the unit.
As you do.
Like 40 ghouls. I'm trying to remember.
Wait, he had a horde of 60 zombies and then a horde of 40 ghouls?
No, it was 3 units of 20 zombies.
Oh,
and
okay.
2 units of 20 ghouls.
All right.
So I felt pretty good about this one because I had a lot of shooting. And we were playing Hammer and Anvil. Look, man, I work. My contacts are really good. So I felt pretty good that I was going to get a pretty significant amount of damage in on his way in.
Yeah.
And what ended up happening was all of my artillery misfired the first turn.
Ooh, ouch.
And he flew up the board with all of his Vargeists and all of his Cav, and left his like zombies and skeletons like and ghouls
like slow.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So what happened was I did like next to 0 wounds my first shooting phase. His second turn, he was pretty much in charge range. My second turn, my half pot misfired. No, my half pot couldn't fire. What did I say?
Hot half.
You said half pot.
This is a halfling pot, so half pot.
Yeah, that's fair.
My hot pot couldn't fire round 2 because it had misfired the previous round. My cannon missed. My crossbows did a bunch of wounds to the Vargeists, but Vargeists now have vampiric, and this was the first time I'd played against VC. Well, like it's only my second game of WoP, so like I have a ton of experience.
Right.
But the vampiric keyword now makes you re-roll all successful wounds against them if you don't have magic weapons or magic attacks or magic. So
that's so good.
At this point, I was like, well, shit, because I did not bring a single magic weapon in my army.
Ew.
Yeah,
that's bad.
Yeah. So I think I killed a Vargeist in my second turn.
Wow.
The third turn, he annihilated. He got a double charge off, charged my heavy cav with his blood knights, and charged my crossbowmen. No, I'm sorry, my handguns with his black knights.
Okay.
And actually, the previous turn, I had charged my ogres into one of the units of Vargeists and killed one of the units of Vargeist with my ogres. About that.
That at least makes sense. But even with the reroll, I guess you're still wounding them on like 2s or something, or strength 6 or whatever. Yeah.
And by the way, vampiric means you no longer crumble either.
That's so good.
Yeah.
You know what's also good is like the necromancers don't have they don't crumble either anymore.
That's good. That makes sense. I
This
mean,
makes so much sense because necromancers aren't
right.
It's like
Well, so let me tell you a story about. Let me tell you a tale of my 12 brave freelancers from Talia that got charged by these blood knights.
Mary like Iliano.
The blood knights each have 3 strength 7 attacks at initiative 7 or 8 when they charge with their lances, and then the Blender Lord had a bunch of strength 8 attacks with Red Fury. And I had a 1-up armor save, so I was feeling pretty good that I'd at least have something left to attack with.
Maybe.
I think his Blender Lord killed like 7 by himself.
Wow.
After the impact hits and
well, yeah, you only got like a 6-up or a 5-up save versus that, right?
I only had a 6-up save.
Wow.
1-up to a 6-up.
Woo.
Yeah. So that was good.
That was fun.
Yeah.
Freelancers.
The Black Knights murdered my handguns, and then my turn came around, and my whole left side of the table was empty because he'd killed it all. And
this was your turn 3?
This is my turn 3. The ogres turned around and eventually got into the rear of the other unit of Vargeist and killed them.
Okay.
My pikemen got into the Black Knights and killed them. And then they got stuck in, at the end of the game, they were stuck in with the Blood Knights and just couldn't kill them.
Right.
Because I couldn't, they got a 1-up armor save, by the way, the Black
Knights have a 1-up armor save?
Blood Knights.
Blood Knights. Well, that makes sense. I mean, they're Blood Knights.
So I couldn't get through the armor save because I had to re-roll all my wounds.
Blood Knights have that too. I guess that makes sense because of vampires. Yeah.
Yeah. So I got desperate and got into a challenge with my paymaster, my BSB, with his vampire lord, knowing that he was going to die. But if he died, then my unit got hatred against the unit that killed him.
Okay.
So I sacrificed my BSB to get hatred, and still didn't do any worse. Basically, what ended up happening is the only thing that I had left on the board was this giant unit of pikemen, which was holding its own. It wasn't dying, but it wasn't killing anything. And like this whole time, this slow advance of zombies and ghouls was coming up behind me.
Yeah. So even if you were able to somehow magically take out all this heavy fast stuff, you still had to deal with the creeping death.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
that's the thing I've noticed with pikemen is I've been running them with my empire list, and they really do not kill anything. They'll sit there for a while, just because there's so many wounds to chew through, especially if you're running like 35 or so of them, and they might kill like a cavalryman when they get charged, but they kind of just sit there forever. And
yeah,
they're human still. So yeah, so you're saying.
I noticed a big problem with my list, which I'm going to have to correct before I play again. So,
magic weapons?
Well, not only that.
Good thing you didn't play the other vampire count player.
Yeah, if you played Nikolai, it would have been even worse. Holy cow.
Oh, combat res?
At least I have a shitload of combat res.
That's true.
I realized that I don't have a lot of fighting potential outside of the ogres and my heavy cav on the charge. So I gotta figure out what I'm gonna paint from my book that can punch people.
Well, you have so close combat wise, you have the ogres and the knights, and then shooting wise, you have crossbows, hot pot, and a cannon, right?
And handguns.
And handguns, and then you have the pikemen as like just your anvil. Like I'm gonna stay here a while. I actually don't know what Dogs of War can even take anymore. Oh, and you have a giant.
Yeah, and I had a giant.
Okay, so your list seems balanced. You took a balanced list, which is totally fine. So it seems like his wasn't as balanced. It seemed like it was much of a steamroll, run through your kind of thing.
I think he played the second game the way he was forced to by the objective.
Okay.
I'm sorry, by the scenario, not the objective.
Okay. All right.
I mean, he knew that if he didn't leave his infantry in the dust and get his Blood Knights and Black Knights into combat, he was going to get shot up.
Yeah.
So he did what he had to do. I think it was a pretty balanced list because he didn't have a level 4.
Oh, okay. Did they have any magic? Did he have a necro or something?
He only had a level 1. He only had his vampire.
Wow.
That's the only caster he had for vampire counts.
That's rare for vampires. Okay.
Oh my gosh, you could crush that list with just flank charges.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That list evaporates on that.
And I guess the Battle of the Past is like that's not a good list to play against because it's like you can't go around me. Blah. Yeah.
It was a series of unfortunate events, but it still doesn't change the fact that I couldn't hurt him. So
actually, I ran a list like that. I have one I ran for 8th edition that was supposed to be like a Game of Thrones list, it was a House Baratheon, but using the Empire army book. Mm-hmm. And it had the same problem because you're trying to keep it themed, so you're trying to keep it with no gunpowder, essentially, which is big mainstay of like an Empire list. But using that, I could never do any wounds because it's just a bunch of strength 3 guys. It's like, oh, well, I have halberds, but I know exactly what you mean by that, where there's nothing to do any wounds in it, and the guys just die.
Yeah, that's about right.
Yeah, I guess if you don't have any black powder for Empire, demigryphs, you still have
Where's that in Game of Thrones?
Oh, Game of Thrones.
Yeah. When you're not using dragons.
That's a good question. Yeah, that'll be hard. That's just a lot of strength 3.
Yeah, it is a lot of strength 3.
I guess so. The lord that I brought to these games is kind of a utility lord instead of a fighting lord. Like he makes one of my units better.
Like stubborn or something, or
no? So he's got a skill or an ability called the best that money can buy. So you basically, when you're making your list, you pick a unit, and that unit either gains armor piercing, gains +1 armor save, or the ability to take a 50-point magic banner if you couldn't already take it. So I put it on my pikemen, so they had a 3-up save because I thought that made sense.
That's cool.
But my general couldn't really fight. I mean, he's like an Empire captain stat line.
Okay.
Once I paint my mercenary general, who's on a griffin,
Ooh.
maybe that
Have some hit and power. Have some. Okay. What about you, Peter? What was your second game?
So my second game was against Warriors of Chaos, which is always a badass list. And this one was pretty cool because it had a war shrine with like 45 marauders. And it's just like, you think about that kind of army looking, you know, they all have flails and stuff, and they're just walking towards me. But unfortunately, because someone decided to do Battle for the Pass.
I rolled it, man. What do you want from me? I rolled it.
They're deployed on he couldn't fit everything really in the right part, so they're deployed on the wrong side of the battlefield.
Okay.
And I put all of my chaff in front of it because there's no way in hell that I was going to put any of my units up against a brick of like 45 marauders with a war shrine and the BSB and like everything in it.
Oh wait, was the shrine? It's like a shrine, so it's actually inside the unit now, right?
It's in the unit, yeah.
Gotcha.
It's in the unit.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
Exactly. Yeah. So I was like, why would I don't really. Toughness 2 elves first that. Yeah. Go kill like 10 of them on the first round, but then it's like, oh, there goes my white lions. So that thing never saw combat, luckily, till the very end. But I got really lucky. Killed his chariots and actually made the shrine panic. The shrine unit panic because it was only leadership 8.
Wow.
The thing started running turn 1 after I killed the chariot next to it.
Oh man.
On the you reroll and it's like, oh, I think it was Dan I played and he had terrible luck with that. But also like, you know, like it's a good lesson too. Because like, okay, leadership 8, that's not that reliable.
No.
Like it's just I would never do that. But you know, you live in the moon. I mean, I remember doing that with Brett's back a while ago. But I did that, and basically I was able to pick apart the army piecemeal. And
right, yeah. If that unit's running away, then and how many points was in that unit? Like 1,000?
Yeah, it had to be something close to that. So I was able to
okay.
And I was able to put my Phoenix Guard, my White Lions, and my Dragon into anything I wanted.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like, all right, delete a unit a turn.
Yeah.
And then shoot the other ones. So it was big victory for the High Elves, but I think props to Dan for a pretty awesome list with all like 45 Marauders with a War Shrine. I thought that was sick.
Did he have any warriors?
Any what?
Any warriors?
No. He ran a Marauder list, which is
all Marauders.
Oh, that's
love it.
So cool. I was like,
yeah,
dope.
It was like Norska. It was like Norska.
Yeah, it's like exactly. Yeah, and it was also a Nurgle one too, so he had high toughness. But I was just rolling like really well.
Oh wait, his Marauders were all T5?
I don't know if the Marauders could get it, but most of the stuff in the list was able to. Yeah, they'd be T4, but still, like T4 Marauders. It's like
that's cool.
That's good.
Cool. All running around with flails.
It's like you're not. It's very hard to kill that entire unit in one turn.
Right.
Like that's with the War Shrine too. So it's like, oh yeah, and he had an awesome conversion too for like the War Shriners. Like it was on top of like the Skaven Bell on like the wheels from that, and it was put on top of that platform with like the Chaos stuff, and it looked awesome. So
nice.
I hope you got to do some minor adjustments to that list and then bring it back out.
Yeah. Okay. So my second game was I played against Aaron. And he was running the dwarves. Also Battle for the Pass, so I couldn't really flank him with my Wood Elves. That was a very close game. It came down to the wire, but luckily my Eternal Guard were able to charge his Iron Drakes, and I made my Eternal Guard ethereal on the turn I charged him, so he couldn't even stand and shoot. So
Yeah.
they just made it there. But they have a 2-up save. So they have a full plate, which is a 3-up, and they have grommet armor. So they had a 2-up save. So it's like I couldn't do anything. So I just bounced off, but I just stood there for it's like 4 turns of combat or something. It came to me. I had to shoot his Thunderers. He put his Thunderers on the flank, and he had his gyrocopter in the middle. And I couldn't put my scouting units anywhere where his gyrocopter couldn't then fly behind him and behind me and just flame like the whole unit. So I was able to I just picked apart some Thunderers as we went. On my first turn, I actually got a charge off because I took a unit of 6 Wild Riders and gave them the Rampager standard, which let them reroll the charge distance. So I failed the first one, but then I made the second one. 6 Wild Riders did no wounds to a unit of Ironbreakers. So they have a 1-up save, but I'd be at -2. So he had a 3-up save, and each Wild Rider has like 3 strength 5 attacks, and the horses have each 2 strength 4 attacks, plus I have impact hits. I just bounced off completely, and he just murdered all 6 of them. I was like, okay, cool. Never charged ever a unit of Ironbreakers with pretty much anything in the Wood Elf list. Just ignore them as much as possible.
But in 8th, that's probably a charge you would make all day long, right?
Yeah, because they'd have 1 less armor save.
Yeah, your strength 5 armor piercing.
Yes, I'd have armor piercing on top of that.
And they don't have a 2-up save.
Right.
And they got a 3-up save.
Yep, but he still had his 5-up parry because Ironbreaker is getting charged and all that other stuff. So he had a 3-up, 5-up, and I just bounced completely off of him. I thought I at least would have killed some, but what are you going to do? Then that was my turn 1 I did that. So then I just plinked him apart as much as I could. Way Watchers were cool, shooting 10, killing or ignore armor or killing blow, I can't remember, with lethal shot, shooting a turn. What else? I pretty much just plinked. My first turn I shot the Iron Drakes as much as possible because I knew he would be shooting 18 or 20 strength 4 shots on 0 armor Wood Elves with no save, ward, or nothing. I would just die. So I just deployed at 30 inches away from him and just kept backing up because you have to. I needed more turns, and with Battle for the Pass, I wasn't able to flank anything. I had a War Eagle or Great Eagle, flew that in front just to sacrifice and take a turn. Treekin are now stubborn, so that is a huge bonus from last edition, 8th edition. They weren't stubborn, so they would just run away all the time. So I threw them at the Ironbreakers, and they're only strength 4, I believe. So they're strength 4 on my toughness 5, and I just sat there for multiple turns. It came down to, I think he won by 120, 170 points. I don't remember exactly. But it was just me constantly coming on. Oh, he did change his list up a little bit because he put full command on his miners. Like, he changed his list. I was like, what? You can't do that. But I didn't care.
He changed his list because they got beat up by handguns in combat, and he didn't have a musician.
Yes. So he put full command on them. But they were my models. So then I let him borrow it because he had like a package that didn't get in and it was delayed or whatever. So he brought them on behind me, but I was like pretty far up. So I just ran around him with the Sisters of the Thorn, just like chucking poison javelins at him pretty much most of the game. My wizard, so it is hard. So I have a level 4 wizard, and I'm channeling a lot of dice, which is great. But his anvil is adding +4 to dispel. Like, you can't get off. That is really hard to get off stuff. Plus, he gets like extra dice, and his anvil. He took the rune that gave him a 2-up ward versus shooting attacks.
Can we talk about that real quick?
That seems too good.
Yeah, not exactly the dwarfs, but just how magic defense kind of works in WoP now. Like, I'm having incredible success with a level 1 high elf mage because you get the +1 dispel now.
Right.
So you're pretty equal now to a lot of the casters out there. And I took the Nulian crystal on this level 1, so you're taking 1 dispel die and adding it you're taking one power die and adding it to your dispel dice.
Okay.
Like I felt like I had like pretty decent magic defense against both the armies I ran up against.
Did they have a lot of casters in the army you faced?
Like I mean, I was running against vampire counts. So
Oh yeah, okay. So,
one vampire counts, and the other one I don't.
warriors.
It was Lord Nurgle, but still,
Okay.
like that was easily able to cancel out that kind of magic. And against the vampire counts, he rolled. Unfortunately, Nikolai rolled terribly for his magic phases a lot of the time.
Well, it seemed like channeling. It seems like the variance between the caster and the dispeller has grown, because if you take a level 4, you're rolling 4 dice to channel on 5s and 6s. That's huge. So if I have a level 4 and my Sisters of the Thorn count is a level 2, so I'm rolling 6 dice channeling on 5s. I was getting at least 2 most of the time. Versus Andrew, I got really lucky on a couple, and I got like 4.
What that means?
What's up, Chris? Woo!
You're picking. It's more you're picking spells dispel because you're the person has to allocate the dice to, rather than trying to dispel every spell to cast, because they're going to throw a lot more dice at one spell and you're going to say, no, I'm good on that.
Yeah.
But on some of the ones where they throw like 2 or 3 at, you're going to be like, you're able to dispel more of those.
Here's 6 dice. Yeah.
Yeah, or at least even like match them. Like I was very happy like just being able to match your dice rolls and be like, okay, I'm pretty sure I got this.
Okay.
But the fact that it's rather them relying on their casting bonus, but more of them having to put power dice into that spell.
Wait, you think it's that? I think it's more power dice. They're relying on more power dice than the casting bonus.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh, sorry, I misheard you. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. They're relying on more dice completely.
Yeah, exactly. So you're putting the dice into it, so you know that if you're not putting that many dice, you have a better chance of dispelling it.
Right.
So I kind of like that. You're able to really pick your spells that you want to dispel, and when they put a bunch of dice into something, you're like, okay, well, there's no reason to do that. Plus, with the exploding 6s, like I think that's been kind of fun.
It is kind of cool because not only could you get like a 85 to cast or something, but it just increases the chance to roll double 1s.
Did that, but when I played Dan with his Warriors of Chaos, I think he got off a spell at like a score of like 36 on 3 dice.
Jeez. Wait, on how many dice?
On like 3 dice. 3
dice? You got a 46?
36, yeah, no, because he rolled like, I think like 3 or 4 6s in a row. It was fucking awesome. And he just kept going off. And he didn't roll any ones, so just like, yeah, you can have that, man.
Okay, Kyle. So, did you have any magic defense? I only asked because when I played against Aaron and he had the Rune Lord on the anvil, he did the first like I'm gonna move my unit, a free move, a 6 or something. I was able to destroy it with the Destroy Magic Scroll. Like the first time he used it, I dispelled it and I destroyed it.
I did not bring a scroll of any kind.
Okay. Did you have like a level 2 or level 1 or something?
I had a level 3.
Okay. All right. Cool. What else?
I think that one of the reasons that magic defense is a little more different now is you're not afraid to try and dispel something.
Because the 6s?
Not only that, but because if you don't dispel it, you don't lose the ability to dispel further.
That's really big, I think.
Yeah.
But I feel like so many times you throw dice at something and you throw all your dice at dispel that it didn't really matter anyway. But I know what you mean for that.
Well,
I think that's a big inhibitor.
Yeah, like there were situations in my game against Aaron when we'd have roughly equal magic and dispel dice.
Okay.
And there would be like, I don't know, there'd be a situation where he would roll like a mediocre roll on something. And I don't really want it to go off, but I also don't really kind of care, like whatever spells. But because we're equal dice and we're getting the same bonuses, why not?
Right.
At least try, knowing that it's not going to hurt you.
Yeah.
Later down the road. So
okay.
I enjoyed that component of it.
there's a lot about WAP, Warhammer's Armies Project, that I really do like. And they're constantly trying to figure out what rules are too gamey, what need to be changed or clarified, and they do that on the Discord, which is great. I'm looking forward to the next game day because I think Aaron, who Kyle and I both played and Peter knows pretty well, is starting a narrative campaign, and everyone loves to play campaigns. Like, not everyone, but that is where like the bread and butter of Warhammer Fantasy, in my opinion, really is. Because you get to create your own character. You get to, like, if he gets injured or like loses an eye, it's like Mordheim, but on just a army scale, like a big army scale. I love campaigns. They're the most fun. They really get me into the game. I can like write up pages on like the fluff or like of my army. You can do some cool conversions. Like if your guy loses a leg, all right, cut his leg off and put a little peg leg there. You know, just cool stuff like that. I don't know all the details that are going to be.
So I can speak a little bit to it.
Go for it.
So yeah, we're talking about putting a campaign together. This is kind of for like these kind of I guess like our kind of coalition of groups. You know, we have in the I guess the wider DC area.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we'd call it. But we're putting together like kind of a narrative campaign set in the Badlands, where I think we got like 6 to 8 people at this point, which is
nice.
Perfect for a campaign. Anything more than 3, I think, is pretty decent size for a campaign. Just so you have enough to have like people, so you can schedule games against people often enough. It's not the same person every time. But yeah, no, we're putting this together. Aaron's putting it together. And I think it's all going to revolve around like a final like siege or something, kind of like an order versus chaos.
Okay.
Kind of game going on there, but it looks like I was looking at the people who signed up for it so far. We have like there's no duplicates for factions in it, which is awesome. So you're going to see like everything in this.
Okay. What do you want to run? What are you going to run?
I'm going to run with my High Elves because it's going to give me the opportunity to finally like finish out a list, like completely done, painted the way I want it to be.
Okay.
Looking forward to that. If someone else wants to do High Elves, I'm going to do Empire or something, which would also give me, a good chance to paint those. But what were you saying? You're saying you're going to run Bretts?
Yeah, I think I want to run Bretonnians just because they're the prettiest ones I have.
Nice.
If I don't run Bretonnians and I play something evil, it would probably be Ogres. They're not as good, but that's okay. Like it's still fun to run a fully painted army. I don't care. But definitely Bretonnians if I can. I don't think anyone else has put Bretonnians down, so for the lady, like I will lead the charge for her.
Perfect.
Yes. Kyle, what are you running? Are you going to run your Dogs of War?
I haven't decided yet.
Okay.
That'd be cool. It makes sense for like the Badlands or something, like a mercenary company out there.
That's true.
Yeah. I mean,
so
there's
do Beastmen.
narrative.
So do Beastmen. Beastmen.
I mean, I'm like you guys, I have lots of armies to choose from, obviously. But I have armies that I really want to play.
Okay.
Like Beastmen. I really want to try those out in a proper game of WoW.
Come on. Hey, guys, tell him to come to my freaking house or I will go to his house and we will play Beastmen on whatever. Let's do it.
But at the same time, I really also want to play my Chaos. I really want to keep playing these Dogs of War because I feel like there's a lot to learn there, and it's an army I've never played, whether in this edition or prior. I also would not mind breaking out the Tomb Kings.
Ooh,
yes.
You should do that.
So I
haven't played Tomb Kings in like literally 10 years.
Well, there was a reason for
that. I wonder why.
They've been bad for 10 years.
So yeah, I've got a lot. I could play my Nippon. Like I don't.
That'd be so cool.
I don't.
You have a Nippon army too. I have one.
Yeah.
I was thinking Bowie wanted to use it the other day. I'll think about bringing it out, but
that's the problem. There's too many options. There's too many options.
I swear I'm gonna either let every
I think Kyle just got kicked. Kyle's frozen. Uh-oh. So I think he might have said let people vote on it. I think it was AJ says Tomb Kings. I think, if I'm not mistaken, Bob bought the Lost Kingdom set of Tomb Kings. Let's see if I can get Kyle back in here real quick. How do I? Kyle, remove his butt. Get out of here, Kyle. And then I will try and add him back in.
Damn, he says he lost power.
Oh, Kyle just lost power. What? Do we got a storm coming in?
So it was raining a little bit in DC today.
Yeah, it rained here. It rained here, and it poured, I guess, decently, but not enough to lose power. Maybe they're just like resetting the grid or something stupid.
Yeah.
Well, screw that guy. No, just kidding. Hopefully I get him to play a bad rep. Hopefully next week. We need to get another one up on the tube for y'all. I am playing Nikolai tomorrow. Actually, he's coming down here.
You're playing the same list, the ethereal list.
I don't know if he's going to run the same list. I think he's going to change it up, which is totally fine. Like, because if I ran my Wood Elf list where all my arrows are magical, it would kind of just like blow his list up. And it's not. I don't want another bat rep where it's just like super one-sided. You know, that's not fun to play, and it's not fun to watch.
I mean, yeah. So like, I felt our game ended up a little bit one-sided because I was able to knock out the ethereals in a turn. But what ended up happening at the end of the game, which I didn't get to mention, which was incredibly awesome, was whatever the hell his special character was, like the lady something.
Lady Orlana or whatever. She's the Aegis Sigmar model. She's Aegis Sigmar model.
Okay, exactly.
Wait, can you see if there's a way to add him back on? I see share your screen, see call participants, maybe share link, copy. Yeah, let's get him back in here. He might just be on his phone though, which so if he can come back. Yeah, it's better than nothing.
Real nice, yeah.
Better than nothing.
But yeah, no, it was. Oh my gosh! So the last turn, I turned my dragon to face his special character. Charged it, and then he's like, "Oh, by the way, like, I have heroic killing blow on this." And I'm like, oh, that's new.
Word.
I was like, well, I get what I.
That's what's cool about WAP is like in the rulebook it says don't really tell your opponent your army list. So
yeah,
it's fun because you can, as long as you're not playing someone who's going to cheat and like say I have this item or something. But if you're just playing, if you know you're playing a good person. And it's just fun to see wacky combos come out like that. Like who knew that she had a heroic killing blow?
So,
it's crazy.
And I end up doing, I think I had like 3 wounds. I did 2 wounds on the vampire, and I was like,
Yeah.
And on the book he hits with both attacks, and then it's like a 5 and a 6 for his wounds, and I'm like,
Wait, he has heroic killing blow on 5s?
No, on the 6.
Okay.
So he got a heroic killing blow, and I killed I had a 5 ward save or something. So it's like
you failed it.
Yeah, I know. The dragon went out on the last turn. It was like because it was good for him because like all his stuff was getting smashed, and he got the dragon on the last turn. So it's like okay, like I would personally I'd be like that's a win for me no matter what.
Moral victory.
Moral victory there. But then right after that. That vampire charged my my little brick of spearmen that I set up to like just stand in front of it.
Okay.
And miscast on the like the same turn he charged. So the thing blew, and he rolled like 11 or 12 on the new miscast.
Oh, so it was like a large blast and
large blast, and then like
nice.
1 wound left on it. So it blew up and took like half the spearmen with it.
Wait, so it killing blow your dragon, then charged and blew itself up with some spearmen.
Yeah.
Oh, that's an epic ending. Like that's fantasy. Yeah. That's fantasy for you.
Exactly.
Oh, that's awesome. So good.
And it's ethereal, so we can do anything to it anyway.
So, yeah, I guess you just have to win with like combat rays or something.
Do wounds to yourself,
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I'm looking forward to the next game day. I think it's going to be in a little bit less than a month. We're going to get some more bat reps for y'all. We're going to upload this all the way up to YouTube, edit it, maybe some. Actually, I probably won't even just throw it up on there. But I guess that's it. Thanks for joining SquareHammers. Peter, you got anything to add? What's up? What you got?
Yeah, give us some comments about who you think had the best list, who had the best game. We should do more of these where we talk about lists. I think people want to see lists. We should talk about that.
Okay.
Let me know what in the comment section what you guys want to see.
Okay.
And
What about army books? Maybe
army books too.
we
Yes,
definitely need.
we gotta do some reviews. That's what I'm looking for. So,
Okay. Well, what do you want to review first? Bretonians, I'm guessing.
of course, Brett's. Yeah, let's do
Yeah.
Brett's as the first one.
Okay. Because I think between
They
Peter and
deserve it
myself.
after 8th.
Huh?
Yeah.
Say what?
I would say after 8th edition of going for Bretonians have gone 17 years almost without a technical new army book from GW.
I don't know how they do that.
We should do Brett's first.
Okay. I'm all about it because I think between us, like I said, we have about 20,000 points.
Yeah,
Bretonians between us. So.
Brett's for my first army.
Okay.
So yeah.
Skaven. Andrew, you want us to talk about Skaven?
Yeah. Okay. We can do that.
Out of here. No, I'm just kidding. I like Skaven too. I'm cool to do that. Okay. Well, thanks, guys. Thanks for joining.
Thanks, everyone.
Appreciate it. And we'll catch y'all on the next recap, next podcast, next vlog, all that good stuff.
See y'all.
Bye, SquareHammers.